August 7th, 2026. This is a follow-up to my July 30th video documentation of still alive ash trees, mostly in the bottomland, along the Huron River, a bit west of Detroit, Michigan. Here's a map of the Huron River watershed. The forest location of many large lingering ash shown here is just a mile upstream of downtown Ypsilanti, where I live. I video documented these native ash trees summer of 2026. That's 24 years after the non-native emerald ash borer insect began killing almost all the ash trees, not only in Michigan, but then expanding into the full eastern USA. So documenting for the first time many large and healthy ash trees in this one riverside location may be very significant. First, take a look at the trails that demarcate where I've been planting native pawpaw seeds since 2021. You can access the video playlist of my PAWPAW project in the caption below. We'll begin this video documentation along the Orange Trail. That's the upland section. And then we'll descend into the bottomland, which is where I've been planting pawpaw seeds and seedlings. Most of this video will document what is called lingering ash. Let's begin. Here's the beginning in the upland, and where I first filmed was coming on the other side. The cemetery's there, the river is behind me, the bottomland access is behind me. But I filmed these two right here, the big one and a little one, going up. Let's see, oh, there's other things in there. But anyway, I'm not really looking for ash here, but if I spot something right along the trail, because I want to document the bottomland, but golly, this is something here. Let me first go up, and this might be a young one next to it. I'll show the trunk close up later for the bark, but here's a good place to be able to get up to its leaf area. Okay, up there. Okay, coming down. So this little one has, I did see some, we got a shagbark hickory, and I've seen some small shagbark hickories, but that has just 5 leaves, and some of these are more than that. But yeah, here you can see the characteristic bark. All right, let me go back from here. And here's where they are, right along the trail. And here you can see how, this looks like a red oak here. Here you can see how steep the bottomland is. Oh, and yeah, here's a good spot too to just kind of see the canopy in the bottomland. The main area I'm going today is the bottomland. That's what I want to document, any extra trees that I find. But going up to this one here, here's my hand for scale. There it is. Here's what it looks like at the base. All right, some more oaks up ahead there. This is what the upland trail looks like. And looking around at the other trees in the upland. And then back to the trail. All right, here's the trail where I just came from, and seriously, I'm not looking in the upland, but this one is right along the trail here. This is the only honey locust here, two stemmer with some really pretty violent thorns on there. But this is a potential ash here too. So I don't know if I can really get up there. Yeah, let's see. Okay, right here. Yeah, right here. What's back up there? What's that? Okay, coming down. I'll put my hand on this one for scale. Yep, here we are. And that's looking down. There's a little creek that comes running through there, and it's always got water in it. And the big housing development is up above there. But you can see there's that other spot there. So this is just an arm of upland that reaches out between this ravine and over here, this downhill slope area down there. That's the bottomland. Okay, continuing on the trail. Continuing a short way down the trail, this is where it just starts getting steep, and you'll see it by, I'd been calling this tree a hickory, so that would be nice if it is, because I'm going to go up it now. First I'll go close to the bark. Glory. I don't know, is that an ash? Well, I can see, because of this branch, I'll be able to go out there and get a look at the leaves. Oh my gosh. Okay, is that, oh my gosh. Opposite? Lord. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. If that's the case, now there's a lot of other trees around here. Let me see. No, I can't go up through whatever that one is next to me here, but oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to get a measurement on this one just in case it's a hickory, but first let me turn over here. I mean, just in case it's an ash. All right, so this one on the right, I'm at a good spot to see all the way up. That bark sure looks like an ash to me. Possibly the one over that dropped its top. And this one, as I go up it, continuing up, that's its stem there. So I'm going to go up close there to where you can see individual leaves and see what this might be. Also, right up there. Oh my gosh, okay. All right. And I don't know, beyond there, I don't know who this is. Let me go up close up here and see. Gosh golly, that might be another one. All right. So I am going over to this one now with my measuring tape, because that would be the biggest one. That would be the biggest one here. And again, it's got a double stem coming out there. Oh yeah, maybe these branches, maybe these, there's a pair of branches out here. Maybe that can be seen, what that is. My measuring tape is 60 inches long, and there's no way I can't brace it up and get the ends near enough for me to be able to measure this. So a look up here, But the best place for me to see the canopy, I think, is if I walk around here. Now do notice there's that creek right down below there. It's pretty steep here. And as usual, this is to honor the privet. Yes, privet, you are welcome here in moderation. All right, so looking up, let's see, I'll go to the far one. Oh, where is that? The far one on the left, way up there. Yeah, way up there. Okay. Golly. Ah. Okay, there. All right, there it is, way up there. And here's what the base looks like. Looking off down towards the creek. Here's other trees around here. Okay, I've just crossed from up there, just come into the bottomland, and here you can see where the creek trickles through and then dead ends at the head of the ephemeral pond down there in the inland bottomland. But since I'm here showing the creek, I might as also show the reason I've been down here since 2021 planting pawpaw. Here are seeds that I planted last year. Here you can see them coming up. None of them taken yet. I learned to really put them in places where the deer are unlikely to go amidst privet, lonicera. It's a big cottonwood back there. You can see there's just nothing for them there, so I'm hoping at least a few survive and continue into the subcanopy and overtopping the privet then, and overtopping the lonicera then, and everybody just all happy together here, newcomers and the standard natives. Okay, continuing along the trail, one more pawpaw planting right off the trail here. First of all, a bunch of dead ROBINIA in here, pioneer species. It's a deep time native. Yes, I know MSU Extension calls it a non-native invasive, but it's a pioneer species. It's got a seed that could not get north after the glaciation, so it's only as far north as the unglaciated area of southeast Ohio, but it belongs here. Nitrogen fixing, good tree, end of its pioneer time, good time for the pawpaws to come up. Okay, so here's a set of 5. 3 remain that I planted last year, and this is the only one that the deer have not, or rabbits, but no herbivores have nipped it off. Both of these here and this one here got nipped off. But you can see this is not exactly a thoroughfare for deer through here, and it's full of privet and lonicera. You see the subcanopy woodies are really, really dense in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back out to the trail, which, let me walk out here. This is the place I came in from the creek, and the upland goes up over there. There's a car tire right in there. The car carcass is near there. And the trail continues this way. But you can see how rich the soil is. You look anywhere where there's sun and not dense lonicera, and you see green things growing. This is really superb soil. And there you get some leaf litter coming from the upland area there, whereas Normally, deeper in the bottomland, we really don't have much leaf litter. We have a lot of exposed soil. Okay, continuing on down through here. I just came from back there where I showed the several pawpaws. And I'm going to walk this section of trail because this is the darkest section that's easy to get to. You can see ROBINIA here, so not everything that falls is necessarily ash, even if the bark isn't preserved yet. But ROBINIA takes a long time to rot, so that probably makes a difference. So as I travel through here, this is just really dark because of the AMUR honeysuckle. So here's a log, big log that fell. Can't see any bark on it anymore, but an expert might be able to identify it. And I have to keep clearing things out from here as things fall. But this is the Lonicera, and here's the red marks that somebody a year and a half ago put on here. But here you can see, oh wow, okay, that's a standing ROBINIA there. But you can see some pile up of logs through there and how dark this section is here. So I will continue going through here. This is so different from the upland. I mean, get a lot of hackberries down here. Oh, maybe here somebody can tell. Maybe somebody can tell what this bark was. Not important, but you can see how dark this area is through here. Okay, continuing to walk through here. Oh. And yeah, Lonicera. Yeah, okay, go under that. And now here, a ton of, okay, look at this. I had been assuming these were ash. Okay, former ash falls. Just look how incredibly rotting they are. Full of mosses. Same with over there. But I'll continue here. This is a wilderness trail. The way to keep the bikes and the little four-wheelers and everything from the upland area off of here is to keep these logs. So here you see some more here. Here you see the density there and what the Lonicera does here. And good place to see that the deer will really, you know, once it's shady, the Lonicera is not going to grow there. But the Lonicera stays green far into the fall, and it's the first to leaf out in the spring, so things can't grow beneath it, but the deer will eat the Lonicera leaves. So the overpopulated deer keep the Lonicera seedlings. The seedlings will start up. I saw a bunch out there at the upstream end, but they'll be gone. The deer will eat them. All right, this is a famous tree from my PAWPAW series. I call it the spiral tree for obvious reasons. A Lonicera, and this is where the trail system goes upstream and to patch 9 in there, and then further upstream. The river is that light area right across there, but you can see it's full of privet. And then here's the trail. And then here's the trail. That's the main trail that goes to all the sections. I'll walk it a little here just so you can see beyond. Goes to all the numbered sections other than 8 and 9. All the rest, including the inland. And then in the previous video, I showed some dead ash right on the other side of this big walnut here. There you can see one and then another one. So just know in that previous one, it's got that. So I'm going to get my stick and I'm going to continue out the trail heading downstream behind me. Still heading downstream on the main trail here, and I'll just stop for a moment. This is patch 4.5 that I planted seeds into, PAWPAW seeds that I planted into last year. Little patches, got a lot of privet around it. Hopefully that's privet camouflage so the deer won't munch. But I'm stopping here just because it's not a sunny day, so it's really easy to see the extent of the Lonicera macchii coming up after all of these log falls in here. So I'm just gonna kind of look around here, and oh, I think, yeah, that's the big black cherry. I filmed that one in part 1, the biggest black cherry that I've seen. Okay, so we're going to continue along the trail and go into the inland section. I'm going to continue walking the trail while filming. I just filmed this little pawpaw patch down there, and I filmed all of the logs out here, and here's the red mark on the tree. Yeah, I've got my stick, so I can just keep going because I need to show you the one spot where you have to kind of curve around and then go underneath a fallen tree. Because other than that, the trail is pretty obvious. So here it does split off. The deer go to the left. I go to the right here. Easy to see. And of course I did another pawpaw planting back there because this was a recent tree fall. In fact, I'll show them. There they are. Look at that. I plant a lot together just because I had so much herbivory in the early years. I wanted the animals to be able to test what they were curious about and realize it's toxic, but then have others that survived. So, and here's another, look at the size of that walnut. I've got another pawpaw patch behind there. But you see, this is a trail. You follow it here. Follow it down. And on the way back, after you come through this hole here and go underneath that log there, as you come back, you go up this trail. You do not go along this trail. This parallels the river, and the river is right over there. You can see how low it is below the bottomland here. This is an elevated bottomland. It doesn't flood. Okay, so walking through here, good to have a stick also to get the spider webs off the trail in front of you. So I have to go under here, and then when I do that, after I do that, another pawpaw patch is up there, but here's the trail, and one part goes to the river and one part keeps going. And also you can keep going straight back the trail here, but you'll want to visit the river. Okay, I just climbed under the log back there, came down the trail, and nobody maintains this. I don't know if it's some kind of an invasive grass, or I have seen muskrats harvesting the tall stems right there and heading downstream with them, so it's dead, must be down there. But here's a place to see the river, and there you can see good place to sit right back there. There's a, yeah, you can't see it from here, but there's a, yeah, you can see a little bit from there. There's a giant black willow back there on the left, and golly, this was probably an ash that fell recently. Cottonwoods, of course, along here. And I have seen bald eagles flying and heard their laughter. Ospreys like to sit in the top of top of that, what is that, a dead cottonwood there? Yeah, but look how low the river's been. We just, here, this is usually, oh, hey, look at all the clamshells you can see in here. I saw a group 10 days ago, 20 days, I forget what that was, but I saw a group 20 days ago, yeah, July 20th. They set a transect across the river and they were monitoring, recording how many clamshells were there. Or not clamshells, living clams, because upstream they're going to take out a dam and they want to monitor how much it changes the living situation. Okay, let's continue. All right, this is Trail's End. My stick is up against the other big butternut, not as big as the one that I showed in the first part of this series, and I will show, I know the spot to show the canopy from. But right here, the pawpaws that are here have actually, this is their 5th summer. They get eaten back. Not only do they get eaten back all the time, here, going far on that one there, but this is too shady back here, so they can grow. They're, you know, they can hang out in the shade, but they're not going anywhere until a fall happens. And this is just full. Look at the canopy of Lonicera here, just full of Lonicera back here. Oh, there's a big dead tree. So what I will show here is walking back the trail. Again, that was the end of heading downstream, now heading back upstream where I came from. There's a big walnut tree that's along here. Patch 1 is back in there, of pawpaw. River is over there. But the main thing I want to show, I'm going to walk right back here. When you see this log on the trail with that rotting section right there, this is a trail that the deer and I co-created after they, oh wow, that's a good place to show it. Look at the size of that pawpaw. Okay, they left that one alone. But this used to be a planting I did, and the deer were using it. So I worked it out and actually got into the inland area the first time last fall. So I'll show you when I go in where this incredible butternut is, but I'm going to go up it here now and show it to you. That's our amazing butternut tree. There, I'll go in close. So easy to tell that that's not an ash. So easy to tell. And it holds on to its leaves longer than the walnuts do. I discovered that last fall. So actually, I'll walk in right now, even though I don't have my stick. Gotta make sure I don't trip on anything here. But I'll walk in because once you find this big butternut, you know you're in the right, you're in the inland section, and then you can just explore. It's pretty easy. That's the main thing I'm doing today, because I've never explored the whole inland section, certainly not looking for ash. But here's the butternut. I put my hand right here, and I have better paraphernalia for tick and mosquito. I have a mosquito net hat on, but for protection than I had last time I was here. I found some dress socks of my late husband, and so they go way up my sleeve. Look at this. Isn't this just absolutely spectacular? Oh gosh, no, I can't see it anywhere. Oh yeah, a little bit up there. Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough for this butternut. And now I'm heading off into the inland area with the ephemeral pool separating inland from Section 8. Inland is the yellow trail. Section 8 is purple. All right, here's a close-up of a tree I'm not going to go back to. Way zoomed in. The trunk looks like an ash, but this is a section that I've never been this far downstream before. I don't know if it's got a canopy, I don't know how it's doing, but this is really maple and box elder area, and one of my favorites, hackberry. I love the bark of hackberry here. But as you can see from where I'm standing, this is periodically got water in it. This is a lower area of the bottomland. There's ephemeral pools, various, well, not the huge one yet. There's one way back there. There's another little one right in here. And I don't plant pawpaws anywhere where I don't have a black walnut or a black cherry. I go by indicator plants. So just letting you see that maybe there's one there for somebody to really document. I'm not going to do it. And to let you know, the farthest I'd come before, this is the white bucket area. There's also a tarp and some other stuff from previous homeless camper person. That's as far as I've ever come downstream in the inland section. It's just too dark. It's not high enough elevation for me to plant pawpaws. So I'm going to go back and continue where we know there's ash trees. In part one of this lingering ash video series, I started here. You can see recent tree falls in here which created an opening, and so by indicator plants I can tell that this gets plenty of sun. So a couple months ago I planted, I don't know, 113 seeds, something like that, back in this area, and even some down here. In the fall, when the ephemerals go away, I'll be able to see. But the same day that I recorded, I came out here with one of my window box growings, and this was the walnut that I had grown, and it looks very happy here. Despite very little rain, it looks very happy, and you can see I used some mosquito net at the bottom to try to keep any curious herbivore from doing anything. So this is where I started, because this right there, that's the first ash that I recorded, and you can see it's right along the trail. So I won't be re-recording anything I find. I'm going to be going farther off the trail in this upland direction of the inland with the big ephemeral over there and seeing what I can find. That's the ash I just noted. My trail goes along there. The walnut I planted was in there. So again, I'm going off trail here and just seeing, not looking for small ones, but big ash. And look what I found right here. I'll use my hand for scale. And now I'll stand back a little and head up to the canopy there. We've got a branch coming out really low down here, so I'll go out on that one to take a look close up of the leaves. And again, over there too. Okay, I'm back on the trail. I just filmed this one here, and there's two very close to the trail. First, let me show, that's the one that, where is it now? Yeah, that's the one that I'd already cataloged, but this one, as I look up, it's got the bark of an ash, and this one over here too, as I look up at it, has the bark of an ash. But the Lonicera is so dense here that I really can't see much of the canopy. All right, continuing along the trail. What is that? Oh yeah, nice black walnut in there. Look how shady it is beneath this tree. The trail's right over here. I just walked a little bit, and as I go up, I can get to a point where it starts really looking like ash bark. in there, and I can see the Laniceras everywhere, but there's a spot here where a side branch comes out. Yeah, right there. Right there. There you can see the leaves of it. Okay, walking the trail back toward the ephemeral pond. This is the indicator tree because it's the only hackberry right along the trail. And I already walked way in here and recorded several here because I did a pawpaw planting earlier this spring, and so that's in part one. I didn't find any new ones to record from what I'd already recorded. I did pretty thorough here. Closest to the ephemeral pond was this one and this one. So now I'm standing in the ephemeral pond. Got cottonwoods, but mostly maples back here. And as I mentioned, it's been 2 months. I don't know where these mosquitoes come from, but there it is. So the inland section is all on this side, and section 8 is everything there. And there's the big walnut that when I was walking out to it on July 20th for documenting section 8 pawpaw plantings, coming from this side and going this way, I found and documented on that pawpaw video 3 ash trees, big ones, healthy. So I'm going to step into there and see what I can do before the mosquitoes drive me out or my video camera battery dies. All right, section 8C, and then the section goes from 8A all the way through 8H, and I don't think it's a really good place for pawpaw, but I'll look for ash. Standing at the big walnut, there's my stick for scale. Here's the ephemeral pond. That's the inland area over there. And I'm not going to bother to walk in here because I've got a camera that actually can zoom in. So, what is this? I don't know. Let me just zoom in on. I know there's one shagbark hickory back there. All right. Let's see. Here's another one here. And then there's another one here. Yeah, they all look like ash to me. And as I look up, you can see there's a lot of sun here, so of course, 2 years ago actually, 2025, I planted a bunch of seeds there. So let me go up to where I can see some leaves. Oh. And then over here, yeah, here's a good spot. Okay, so there they are. There's probably more back there, but you know, this is enough to entice somebody to come here and really do a thorough documentation here, and I hope climb these trees and take some leaf cuttings and get their genetics to keep going. All right, I'm going to continue looking around for ash. I'm not bothering, you know, if those things are ash, fine. I'm just going for the big ones. Okay, there's another view of the walnut I was just documenting in there. I'm heading back in the upstream direction, and I see a kind of small one here. Let me put my hand on it. Normally I'm not going to look for anything this small, but the bark looks healthy, and can I see up above the Lanicera? Is that possible? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to try. And then as I rotate around, I'll put in a time code to get to the pawpaw video of July 20th, where before I got to the walnut tree, I must have got this one in here. But I recorded 3 rather large ash trees in there. I'm not going to look anymore. I'm going to head off in this direction because the mosquitoes are driving me crazy. Even though I have a full head net on, I'm fully, actually you can see here, always tuck socks into boots, light colored khakis. I really never see ticks, but I crawl around here a lot, and since I did get Lyme disease for the first time in Michigan this past summer, I'm just not going to get it again. Okay, I'm going to go back there. There's a tree back in there that I want to look at. First, looking up at the canopy of this one. And then coming down, close up of the bark. And who's that behind it there? Can't focus. Okay, I think I can see some. I think I can see some leaves here to take a look at. All right. We'll see if I. Oh gosh, I'm already at the slope. Oh gosh, I got really turned around on this overcast day. Yeah, that's a sycamore there. This is a patch B and patch A pawpaws there, and here's the slope that goes to the upland, but it's too steep. The trail that goes up to the upland is over there. Okay, I'm about ready to leave. Okay, but yeah, look at all the down trees in here. Yeah. Here's that little ash I just filmed from a distance, and the nice part about it is there's some leaves very close here. Yeah. Okay, so you can really see what's going on here. Yeah, and it looks healthy up there. There's a hackberry right there, and then here's a sycamore. And as I turn here, this is the deer trail, and patch B is over here. Older patch A with just 4 pawpaws from 3 or 4 years ago is there. This is where I put pawpaw seeds in to a pit for winter stratification, and I'll see how far I can get back this direction, heading towards D's, E, F, G, and H. There's just so many healthy ash in here. Oh, they're looking up. Try to go over. You can see the leaf structure here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. As I turn from here, oh, there's another. And there's just so many here. Let me check this one here. This zoom camera really helps. Yeah, that looks like it too. So I'm going to pick up my stick because I know that there is a dead ash there that hasn't fallen yet, and a living ash. See, I hadn't even bothered to notice these, but a pretty big living ash that I had noticed when I was planting this section for the first time last year. Okay, so here you can see tree fall. I've got pawpaw plantings on the other side of that. This is certainly an ash. Head up through the Lonicera, and oh my God. Oh, Lord. That looks so incredibly healthy. Oh, Lord. Let me go in on something here where you can see the leaflets. Yeah, that one. Okay, that wasn't even the one I was... Oh, no, that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that's the big one. Big living one. And then the dead one, the deer and I sort of have a trail here. Yeah, here's... This one's alive. Yeah, see, I've got this area marked. Yeah, and there's another white one and an orange one there. This has got several small... I don't want to go in there. I've got several small pawpaw plantings there, but this was a dead ash tree. So, oh, yeah, as long as I stay along this trail, I'll be fine. Yeah, maybe I can show it a little more here. All right. So, I assume that's an ash. I'm going close. Yeah, it looks like it. And they're on the bark. Oh. Okay, so this was the last place that I really remember seeing an ash, but I'm going to, way to get through here is, you walk to, oh yeah, this way. I'll put my hand against it. Yeah, okay. There, you can see how big this one is. This is, we got 59 inches here. Okay, look at that. I see, here's the bark. I see a few little holes, but no, I don't see any D holes in here. And there's the lookup. And let's take a look at the base here. Yeah, here it is. Here's a look at the base. Here's looking along. Looks great. And the place to find it is, there's the ephemeral pond with the last section 8H. And may the forest be with all the living ash and my baby pawpaws.